Hola my amigos, que pasa, how's it going? Katie here. So, my cat scared me, sorry. So I just wanted to share with you guys the events that have happened in the past few days because this past weekend has literally been insane. And it's just like too good to like not share. Also, I just took my hair down from having it in a ponytail all day from work and now it's like got it stuck on me and I couldn't find it. But anyway, so we're gonna start with Friday night. So I'm a server and I try to stay at my job the entire day. When I work, I try to get like 8-hour shifts and I try to get 30 plus hours. Like I will pick up everyone's shift. I like money, I like working, and since my boyfriend works from 12 to 10, and many times he doesn't get up until like 10:30, 11. I try to work because I get lonely and I don't want to be here all day with the cat because then I'll use all the Wi-Fi. So I work. And on Friday, I worked the double and I got off at probably like 10. I closed, and the store closed at 10. I got home probably like 10:30 or so. And so when I get home, I live in an area where there is like 6 apartment buildings, and like each apartment building has like 4 like apartments, I guess. Yeah, I think it's 4. So there's like 6 buildings, 4 because they're an up downstairs, and then there's a basement. So there is like ours is like the end of the line, and then there's a cul-de-sac, and then there's 3 more buildings. And so there's a building directly across from ours. And so when I was going home, I was pulling down the street and I see a shit ton of cops. And I'm like, holy crap, like what's going on? Because cops have been on this block before with some crazy lady, and I was just like, oh, and people are like, oh, don't mind her, like, you know, she does this often. And I'm like, okay, whatever, that's weird, you know, this is why I don't like my house. So I was trying to park my car because I was curious as to, you know, what was going on and why there was 7 cops in front of basically my place because they were all over the road. So I'm just trying to park my car, but there's a cop car, like here's my driveway, here's a cop car. And so like I would park my car right here on the very edge because we're the last one, so my car is right there. And then so his car is like completely blocking my driveway, completely blocking our 2 spots that we get. And good thing we don't have neighbors because, well, we do have neighbors, they just are never there. We're pretty sure it's a drug house, but that's a different story. And so I like, there's like my other neighbors' cars, and like, well, they're not, I don't know, you know, those people over there who sometimes also use the not neighbors parking spots, which is fine. So I went between their car and this cop car and like completely just like parked so ungodly crooked in my spot, but I didn't want to be on the road in the middle of all these cop cars. So I went and I was like parked like this, kind of completely crooked, but in my 2 spots. And so it was like, oh my God. But like, so when I was pulling down the streets, like going between this cop car, they like shine this super bright light in my car. And I'm like, hello, sir, you know, I'm just trying to like park my car. You know, I've been gone all day. Like, I don't know what's going on. I didn't say that. And so like, I just go inside and my boyfriend gets home, and the neighbors that are, like a door over, my mom knows this lady, and so she was like, oh, hi, how you guys doing? And I'm like, do you know what happened? And she's like, oh yeah, someone got shot. And I'm like, what? And then I posted about it on my Snapchat story, and this other girl was like, yeah, there was a shooting. And I'm like, oh my God, someone got shot across the street from me. Like, I live in a place where there's like 6 different buildings. How is it possible for someone to get shot here? Like, it's not like secluded. It doesn't seem bad. There's a lot of children, like little kids in those apartments like next to me. Like, what? And then, so, there was a bunch of cops there, and then, you know, eventually my boyfriend gets home. We figure out how to get his car in the parking spot like we did my car. And so the cops didn't end up leaving until like 2. It was like 1:40 the last time I looked out the window. And before that, they had literally taped off the scene because it was a crime scene. And they were taking photos of it. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like, I can't believe this. Someone got shot across the street from me. Like, where am I living? You know, and I've lived in this town basically my whole life, for like 16 years now. And I just moved to the other side of town with my boyfriend. And I'm like, what? So, the neighbor lady refused to stay at her place that night. She was like, it's not safe here. I'm taking my kids somewhere else. And like, her kids are in high school. They're not like little kids or anything. And she's like, it's not safe here. So we're going to go somewhere else. And I'm just like, So I was like, babe, what are we going to do? And he's like, we'll be fine. We'll just lock all the doors. I'm like, cool. Like, we're going to get shot up. So I still have not seen a story about it in our town's like record or like Facebook page or anything like that. Oh, I wonder how many times it's done that, because I haven't realized it. It's been going off since we moved in, which was in July, and we don't even notice it anymore, but anytime people come over here, they notice it, and I only notice it because I'm sitting right under it. But I can't reach the battery to fix it. Anyway, so there's still not a story or anything to actually say what happened or whether or not the person that got shot is dead. It's not a crime scene anymore. Like, everything's fine. People are living their life over there again. Like, it's all like holly jolly. And so yeah, that's the person getting shot story. All right, so now the story about today. Okay, I have this light right here and it's like not really working right. Like, I need it to be like not completely washing me out, but like making the like light better, you know what I mean? Y'all mean? Anyway, so I went to work today, and I also worked a double, which I do basically Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So Saturday we get a lot of church people, which, you know, is normal for Sunday in a restaurant, and older people, they want to go to lunch after church. So I was taking some dishes from my table back to the back when the GM of the restaurant that I work in walks in and looks me like dead in the face, and he's like, is there someone dead in our parking lot? And I'm just sitting there like, what kind of question is that? Like, just looking at him like, I don't know. Like, I'm not near the front. I can't see the front. I don't see like people, you know. And like, it's Sunday and there's mobs of people literally coming in, like groups of like 8 and 10, like all Sunday morning long. So it's normal to see a group of people by the door. But he goes, there's someone on the ground in the parking lot, and there's a group of people around him. I'm like, no, like, I can't tell you what's going on. Like, I have no idea. Well, come to find out, when our assistant manager saw the group of people outside, he went out there to see what was going on. Well, there was an older gentleman that was like 65, I think they said, who had passed out, but if you ask the GM, he says he had a heart attack, which could also be like a thing. Well, anyway, he was turning blue because he didn't have a pulse and he wasn't breathing, so he was losing oxygen, so he was turning blue because he was obviously dying. And so the assistant manager started giving him CPR while a relative was calling the paramedics and like had it on speaker or whatever, trying to tell the assistant manager, you know, what to do until the paramedics arrive. So our assistant manager brings this guy back to life. Like, literally, he was breathing again by the time the paramedics came, and then they put on oxygen. Well, there was a fire truck, an ambulance, an EMS vehicle, and what I saw, 2 police cars in our parking lot. And for some reason, people still decided to come into the restaurant. Now, I'm not saying, like, don't go into a restaurant, but, like, if there's that much stuff happening and it's all right next to the front door, why would you think, hey, let's go eat at this place, like, let's just walk right by all these, like, people and cops and paramedics and EMS people, like, yeah, it's completely fine. And then we had all the tables that I had, and all everyone's tables been like, oh, what happened? So I, like, let them know. And I'm not really sure if the guy ended up making it or not, because once they loaded him into the ambulance, which I did watch that, they got him on the gurney. I didn't see him do that, but I did see them roll the gurney to the back of the ambulance, and they put the guy in it. I did see that. And so, I'm not really sure if he made it or not, because when they loaded him up, they stayed there for, like, a long time. They didn't just leave. They didn't go. They didn't turn on any lights or sirens or anything. It sat there for like 30 minutes. And so I'm not really sure, like, if they were, doing stuff to him inside or whatever. But I mean, and anything that I've seen or heard or watched, I feel like they would have been doing that, like, on transport, like, on the way there, until he could be, like, hooked up to some kind of machine or, like, breathe for him or something. But everything ended up, like, leaving the parking lot, and I never heard a siren. I never saw any lights. So either the guy was, like, fine and back, or the guy was dead, because there was like nothing. Like, you would have heard the sirens going off because you saw everything and heard it when it was coming in. It was nuts. Also, don't really think my GM believes in God, but, like, he said that while he was out there, like I said, church people come. Now, I go to church. I just don't go as much as I used to. And by as much as I used to, I mean, I don't go anymore, but I'm still friends with all my church people. And so, I can't, because it's so messed up. So, he said that there was a priest or, like, a preacher or something. And, I'm like, yeah, okay, like, maybe a preacher, but, like, a priest? No. And so he said that, like, he put his arm on my GM and just started praying, like, out loud. But he was, like, looking at him in the face, like, looking into his soul. And, like, in the process of this guy preaching, the guy that was basically dead and being brought back to life by the assistant manager, he took a breath. And the guy that was praying, like, stopped praying and looked at the GM and was like, didn't say anything, but if the GM and the GM story, he's like, basically the guy, like, looked at me and was like, wow, can you believe I did that? Like, that just happened, like, the power of God. And the GM's like, nah, man, that was the power of my assistant doing CPR on your friend, bringing him back to life. It was nuts. And I don't know, it was just another double at the good old restaurant. And turns out that my apartments aren't dangerous, and they say it may have been a robbery, but even then, why would you instantly shoot someone that walks into your house? I don't know. But this does not, because I swear to God, even though if no one comments on this video or watches it or anything like that, this is just documented for myself to look at this insane weekend of all this shit that happened literally, like, right next to me. And I don't know, like, I'm just really fortunate, and it really sucks for that guy, and I hope that he's okay. And if not, God was there and, took him, and, he's in a better place with no pain, because even though he was only 65, he did apparently have a lot of health issues. So maybe he's not in pain anymore, maybe there was a reason for everything. But then again, I also think that guy just probably wanted to, go to church and eat some, almost said the name of my restaurant, eat some food with his family, and then, just go on about his day. But it sucks. But I don't know. All right, I think that's it. That's all I got to say for this video. Sorry it's so long. It was nuts. Oh, wait a minute. I was going to say, this, just because someone got shot across the street from me, literally does not mean that people shouldn't have guns, okay? I think people should have guns. I just don't think they should be going all crazy and shooting random people. But if someone broke into his house, It could have been a self-defense thing, but, you know, probably not. It could have been suicide. Maybe he wanted to shoot himself. Like, I don't know. You're going to tell people that they can't have guns because, you know, maybe he wasn't mentally ill before he did it. Like, before he decided to kill himself. I don't know what I'm saying anymore. I just think that people should be able to have guns. And, unless you're, like, diagnosed with something, in which case they run background checks before you can buy most guns. So you gotta become nuts after you buy the gun, apparently. Well, nowadays they run background checks. Don't really think they did that before. But yeah. So that was my weekend. Hope you guys have a good week. And yeah. Adios, my amigos. Bye.